FTC Alberta. My name is Mitch Way. I'm your first senior mentor, and today I'm going to be your guide through championship season for the 2023 First Power Play presented by Raytheon Technologies season. Right now it's January 29th as I'm recording this, and in the next couple of weeks every team in Alberta is going to participate in one championship, and some of them are going to participate in two as we move on to the Alberta Championship in Red Deer. Prior to that, we're going to have our first championship coming up in about a week here from when this is being recorded on February 4th and 5th. That will be in Northern Alberta and be in Sherwood Park, Bev-Facey High School. The week after that, on the 11th and 12th of February, we're going to have Nelson Mandela High School, hosting the Southern Alberta Championship. This video is a guide for students, for mentors, potentially even for parents who want to understand what these championships are and a few of the really interesting quirks and things that go on with them. So let's start. Every team to this point should have received a schedule. Schedule should look something like this. And that schedule will go through the things that the teams need to know from the 2 days that they're going to be competing in their championship. I pulled up the Southern Alberta one here, and this one talks about how on Saturday we've got a few things going on. Sunday is a very long day of matches. It also now includes a judging schedule, as was here before, and a robot inspection schedule. We'll talk about that in a moment. The basic schedule for the weekend is that on Saturday, teams are going to come in, pits are going to open at 9 o'clock, and teams are going to be able to get started setting up their pits, getting working. For some teams, especially those with a low team number, on that morning, you're going to have a judging session set. Please show up for the judging session. You bring yourself a laptop, you can bring yourself a trifold, you have to bring yourself an engineering portfolio. The rules for engineering portfolios are in section 9.2 of Game Manual number 1. You're going to hear me reference Game Manual part 1 quite a few times through the course of this presentation. It's where all the tournament related rules are for a first tech challenge match, for a championship in this case. Those engineering portfolios need to be 15 pages plus a title page. There are specific rules around font sizes, around what can go into them. It has to go into them. Those portfolios get left with the judges, and I recommend that teams bring a second copy to leave in their pits for anybody wandering by who wants to see your progress. For teams that have been around for a while, this is actually replacing the engineering notebook from seasons past. You may notice that this one is quite limited with the 15 plus a title page limit. An engineering notebook can be as long as you want. They are not required, and some teams might still have an engineering notebook in their pits to go through the details of their team's process over the course of this year. When you go into those judging sessions, you're going to find that you walk in, get yourself set up, the judges will introduce themselves, you can introduce yourselves, and at that point the format is 5 minutes of teams presenting and 5 minutes for the judges to ask questions. The judges will not interrupt you as a team for those first 5 minutes, and after that they may start asking some questions. At that point you can have a bit of a back and forth with the judges and explain to them your process and why you are deserving of some of the judged awards. Mentors, you do not need to be in the judging room, but if you are in the judging room you are to remain silent. You're not contributing to the presentation in any way, shape, or form. Every team is going to have access to a projector, so please bring an HDMI cable and a laptop if that is what you're choosing to do for your presentation, or if teams want to come bring their robot up and just talk about it, that works too. Now, for inspection, it's going to look a lot like it did at the prior round. So if you're in Northern Alberta, inspection table will be set up. Please, as always, endeavor to get your inspection done as early as possible because it just makes everyone's lives easier. Because the Southern Alberta event is so large with almost 40 teams competing, we've actually provided a robot inspection schedule. What this means is that if your time comes up, we're going to be sending some people to come find you to come get through your initial inspection. No, this does not mean you need to pass the inspection the first time. If you go through the inspection and the inspectors say, hey, you need to improve your wire management, you can always come back and get re-inspected. As well, if you are a team that is ready for inspection before your allotted time or outside your allotted time, please go to inspection. We'll give you a number, we'll put you on the wait list so that you can be there, and the next available inspector will come inspect your robot. Every team that is already on the schedule will take priority over you, so you might be waiting a little bit. We've offset the robot and field inspection schedule with the judging schedule, so theoretically your time will not conflict with your judging in any way, shape, or form. Please note that the robot inspectors and the field inspectors for this event are enforcing every single rule. As the season's gone along, we've really pushed to have them be more sticky and stringent on these things, so please make sure that you've measured your robots and read the game manual and that you're going to pass that inspection when you get there. We have all day on Saturday to get through that inspection, so all teams will walk away having passed inspection, having done all of those things. Mentors, the one piece that is additional for you is that there is a team check-in for this one. Please, when you walk in the front door, go to the check-in table and present your team roster from firstinspires.org. With all the students that are on that roster, they need to have that green check mark to show that they've checked off the consent and release so that they may participate in this particular event. With that being said, on Sunday, you're going to come in, and mentors, you're going to check in again. Same thing at the front desk. No roster required this time. This is just to make sure that we have everybody there before our 8:30 a.m. drivers meeting. As usual, drivers should go, and the head referees will talk about the various pieces of the driving. If you're in southern Alberta, you actually have 2 head refs for this particular event because we're going to have 2 separate divisions of probably 19 teams at this point. Those divisions will not play against each other. It'll be very similar to our first league event. That being said, following that driver meeting, we're going to get into our opening ceremonies and we're going to start running matches right away. In southern Alberta, teams are going to get 5 matches. In northern Alberta, they're going to get 6. This is purely for logistics because of how many matches we have to run in the south during the day. With that being said, expect to play matches all day. We will have a half-hour lunch as close to 12 o'clock as we can. Teams, I will advise everyone that if you have a mentor who can go out and pick up your team's lunch, that is advisable. There probably won't be a lot of time to go out and get something, or bring your own lunch, is what the case may be. All of the venues for all the championships, North, South, and the Alberta Championship, will have a space for teams to eat during that time. I want to add that while FTC is doing its matches on the Sunday, all of the events, FLL will actually be running on the Saturday as well. So if there's some downtime on the Saturday, which there may be a little bit of, please feel free to go cheer on the rest of your gracious professionals and the ones who are coming up to FTC here in the future. Back to Sunday. Once we've gone through our qualification matches, you're going to be given a ranking score. Now, this is something that I've answered quite a few questions about, and I'm just going to jump over to FTC events here. This is a website. You can just go ftc-events.firstinspires.org, and this website, if you just search Southern Alberta, you'll actually find any of our events, and you can click on our league rankings. This year, you have ranking points, tiebreaker points 1, and tiebreaker points 2. These are the rankings that you're going into the Alberta Championship with. Now, some of you may notice that these teams have 12 matches played, and they have a 10-0 win-loss tie record. This is because we take your best 10 scores. So if you've played 12 matches, you're going to get the best 10 of those for your ranking points, tiebreaker points, and 1 and 2. What this means is that when you come into the championship, you already have a ranking score. At the championship, every match you play on Sunday is going to go into your score. It's actually going to determine your overall ranking in the field. And what that means is that at the end of the day on Sunday, every team that's participating will be asked to send a single team representative. That representative will come to the field, and you'll all stand in the order that you are currently ranked. This is to set up the alliance selection for our actual elimination tournament that happens at the end of each championship event. Our target is to have these happen middle of the afternoon, but they'll be happening very shortly after the final match is played in the qualifications. What this means, and I've actually set up the first scoring system here to illustrate this, is I actually set up a Freight Frenzy one from last year, and this is actually showing some completely random matches that I created for Freight Frenzy. And I'm just going to let this scroll down because it's actually created some pretty arbitrary rankings here. Excuse me. And in this case, ranking point, tiebreaker point 1 and 2. Obviously, the ranking point format was different for Freight Frenzy. But what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take this simulated field of teams and walk you through what alliance selection looks like. So in this case, we're going to line up team 18444 and team 4169, 11712 up on the field, and everyone's going to stand in their ranking order. What's going to happen then is we're actually going to give me a sec here. All right, we're actually going to go, and teams are going to be able to pick their alliance partners. In all of the championship events for Southern and Northern Alberta, there are going to be teams of 2 robots, a captain and a first pick. At the Alberta Championship, they're going to be a captain, a first pick, and a second pick. A little more on that in a minute. What happens is the first ranked robot, in this case, 18444 in my simulation, is going to be the captain of the first alliance. They are then going to have a choice of picking any team in the field that they want for their alliance partner. So they come up, and let's say, for example, that 18444 was very impressed with team 4169. Okay, they take the microphone, they say, we would like to invite team 4169 to come join our alliance. Okay, 4169 will walk up and will take the microphone, and they will say, we graciously accept. what happens is they now become the first pick of the second alliance. What this means is that whoever was ranked third now becomes the captain of the next alliance. I'm going to let you know, at the Southern and Northern Alberta Championships, there's no downside to this at all. You can be the captain, the first pick, you're going to win equally on this one. What happens then? 11712 takes the microphone and they invite another team. Now let's say, for example, they're going to pick team 14716, who are the next ranked team in the list. But 14716 decides they have a better chance of winning if they're not on the team with the team that's picking them. They take the mic and they may go up and say, "Thank you for the gracious offer, team 11712, but we are going to graciously decline." At this point, 14716 is actually not eligible to be picked again for the alliance selection. That's not a big problem for them right now because they're currently in place to be an alliance captain on the next team. So 11712 looks down the list and says, okay, maybe instead of that, we would like team 20085 to be our teammates. Team 20085 graciously accepts, and then team 14716 becomes the captain of the next alliance. If you're not in line to be a captain, don't decline an offer to go on a team because you are not eligible to be picked again. In this case, perhaps we have these teams pick a couple more of their teams, and this gives us our actual setup for our alliances for an elimination bracket. How this works is the first alliance and the fourth alliance are going to play each other, and they are going to then play each other in a best of 3 match. So first to 2 wins takes it. Semifinal 2 is between team 2 and 3. Those 2 teams that win are going to go to the finals, and the winner of those finals are going to play off against the winner of the other division in the South, and in the North, they're going to take the banner. With that being said, as far as the schedule is concerned, we've kind of gone through the whole thing that we go through for all of that. After this is all done, and we've named a champion based off of the tournament, the elimination tournament of alliances here, we're actually going to shift from there to the awards ceremony, which is where we add the judged awards. And once again, I recommend that you reference your Game Manual 1 for a description of all of those awards the teams are eligible for. At the end of this tournament, we are going to be advancing teams. In Northern Alberta, we're going to advance 9 teams. In Southern Alberta, we're going to advance 23 teams. That was purely based on percentage of teams going through to the Alberta Championship. And those teams are going to get an invite to the Alberta Championship. This is in March. It's on the, let's say off the top of my head here, the 4th and 5th. That is correct, at St. Joseph's School in Red Deer. Awesome time will be had by all, and I look forward to seeing people there. The way we determine who goes is based off of this order of advancement, which is section 6.2 of the game manual. It shows, and we ignore the optional piece, by the way, for this particular event. The Inspire Award winner in the South and the North, they're going to get their first offer to go to the Alberta Championship, followed by the winning alliance captain, followed by the Inspire Award, and so on and so forth. If a team has already earned their way to the next level, we just simply skip that number until we have 23 teams who will get an offer to go to one of those championships. How that works is the lead mentors for that team, shortly after the event, will receive an email. They'll have approximately 36 hours at that point to respond to the organizers for FTC Alberta to just let us know if you're going to be at the Red Deer Championship. And if you are not, we're going to offer the spot to the next team down the list. With that being said, I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory and tells us where we're going. The one weird piece that you should know in championship season is what everybody's really fighting for here, and that's a spot at the Houston Championship. This is the World Championship for First Tech Challenge, and we're able to offer 2 spots through FTC Alberta. And as you can see from this order of advancement, that means that the Inspire Award winner and the winning alliance captain from the Alberta Championships in Red Deer in March are the ones who are going to go forward. And this is why if you see the alliance selection looks a little different at the Alberta Championships, we automatically assign the captains. That's why. With that being said, I want everybody to have the absolute best time they can at these championships. They are long, arduous affairs, but at the end of the day, First talks about how it's the hardest fun ever. And the reality is that's true. You're going to make key friends. You're going to make some absolute amazing memories from these events, and I hope that everybody gets some enjoyment from the STEM learning that goes on with these things. With that being said, If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. My email will be in the description here, but it'll be mitchell@firstalberta.ca. And if you have any questions, please let me know. We'll get you rolling. We'll get you through the championship season. I hope I answered some of your questions.